Good morning, Softball America. It is Monday, April 21st. We're excited that you're here. Gray Robertson, Tara Henry. We've got our coffee. Good
We
morning,
do.
Tara. I've got my Stranger Things mug because that's what this week was like. How are you, partner? Good to see you.
I'm great. I don't know what type of mug this is, but I use it every week, and it's got some natures like flowers and all kinds of fun things on it. So
We love nature. I mean,
yeah,
minus the whole pollen part, which is kind of kicking my butt right now. But
I'm good. I'm great. I feel weird. I'm on this side. Can you switch us?
oh
Because
yeah,
it feels a little bit.
ready? The
Yeah,
magic of producing. 1, 2, 3. Ooh.
great. Okay, I feel
And
better.
now I'm over here.
Good morning, everybody. I can't wait to talk about the weekend. What a weekend!
Oh yeah, and we're gonna pop up all the chat. So again, send your questions, send your comments. Let us know where you're watching. Here's the rundown. We're gonna start talking about some of the big series, a lot of big series this weekend, including some stunners. A couple things that happened that raised the eyebrow, if you will. Yes, and
One, I
then
don't know if I can do one. I can only do two.
Pitt did what? Okay. Then we will answer your questions. This is not all necessarily in order, but we'll also answer your questions about the top 25, new poll out, new number one. It was hard. We'll discuss it. We'll talk about bracketology a little bit. If you have specific bracket questions, I have updated the hashtag bracket packet. So I'm ready to talk about that. We'll also look at some of the mid-major conference races. There are a couple that are really sticking out with some key games coming up this weekend. 1s and 2s, 2s and 3s battling it out. So we'll talk about that. We'll look ahead. And then somewhere in that hodgepodge, Tara, we've also got a guest joining us today, Florida's Korbe Otis, who had it provided, I guess, good content for me. A great Saturday for the Florida Gators.
Yeah, just really excited to have Corby on and not only talk about this weekend, but just about receiving a golden ticket. I think what Athletes Unlimited is doing across the country is really special, and just want to hear about her experience and get a little insight of what's been happening with the Gators. So just really excited to have her on, and we've got such a great show. Again, if you guys have questions on top 25, please put them in the chat. And as always, you can. We'll put up some chat questions as we get into it, but let us know where you're tuning in from. Would love to know where you guys are, and good morning. Hopefully you have a cup of coffee or just hanging out. Maybe you're at work listening on the headphones and the boss doesn't know that you're listening. So just let us know where you're tuning in from.
Hey,
Just appreciate you all.
and once we get caught up on the chat, I'll put the overlay up. We'll let the questions flow in. But a couple comments that were already in before we even got started. Julie, good morning, Tara and Gray. Hello, Julie.
Morning, Julie.
The Blades and Banter podcast. Good morning, Tara and Gray. Excited to finally be at one of these live. We're excited to have you.
Welcome.
Of course, Fang.
Oh,
good morning, Tara and Gray. Gary, wait.
I mean, has he met Gary?
I hope not. Gary stayed hidden this year. Gary's been in hibernation, but we'll see what happens in Oklahoma City.
For those that you don't know, Gary is Gray's alter ego. I don't know if you watched The Dirt, but you probably found out about that on The Dirt. It just he's fun when he comes out. That's what we thought. Maybe thought maybe you hung out with Fang. You know?
No, not yet. But World Series, we'll be there. Jordan, good morning. Robert, I see your top 25 question. If we want to use the word question, we'll answer that a little bit later. Sarah, good morning, softball peeps. Cheyenne, good morning to the totally tubular Tara and the gnarly Gray.
Yeah, love it. Hi, Cheyenne. Good morning.
Here's Robert's good morning. AY, good morning, Gray and Tara. Good morning, Keith from Arab, Alabama. Let's see. Marty, hello from Soaking Wet, Oklahoma. Uh-oh. I think that's probably heading towards us. That's okay, and that's pretty much it. Lynn Ann, what a weekend. Lynn Ann from Texas. Fang.
Oh no, I'm laughing at Fang too.
Gary joined our Twitter space. I did that one time.
See, he does know Gary. See,
yeah.
There you go. All
All
right.
right.
Chats are up. I love it.
Chat's up. Okay, real quick, we're going to start with a bit of a somber note because it was a really, really tough weekend across the softball world. Everything that happened at Florida State and that tragedy, and our thoughts are obviously with the entire university, the entire city of Tallahassee, and then Umpqua Community College and the tragedy there with the passing of Jamie Strins and one of the freshman players. Just so sad. I mean, devastating. And we're thinking about both schools right now as they work through this. And we're, anything that they need at all, let the softball world know we've got your back. But that was sad. And I want to make sure that we started by sending our condolences to both universities after what happened this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely, Gray. And I hope that everybody can come together and pray and give love to those that have been impacted by both horrific events this past weekend. For those that don't know, a 10-passenger van with Jamie Strins, who was driving the van, Sammy Strins' sister.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to a game. It was late night, and two passed, including Kylie Jones, 19-year-old first baseman. So, sending all of our thoughts and prayers to them. And then obviously those that were impacted, Florida State and Tallahassee as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a horrible note to start the weekend and a horrible note to end the weekend. And we're thinking about absolutely both of those schools and everybody affected by all the tragedies. I want to, it's not an easy transition to talk about softball after that. When real life things happen, it does put the game into perspective. But there was also a lot of impactful softball that occurred this weekend. And arguably the biggest series was everything that went down in Texas-LSU. This was a series where it seemed like everything was on the table. LSU could have swept this series. Texas wins the series 2-1 behind two just incredible finishes to get their wins in the bookend games. How about Jolie Mitchell and the stuff that she dealt with and then did at the end of games 1 and 3? And just, man, this was a great softball series that Texas came out on top of.
Absolutely. And, we talk about this a lot, Gray. I think good teams, good squads find ways to win, and it's not going to always be pretty. I think 2 walk-off wins. I think Texas is really finding out what it's like to be in the SEC. And I know we get harped on for saying that, but it's week in and week out. It's a battle, and can't say enough about Jolie Mitchell for her to come back after the warning that was received. Maddox McKee ran into her rounding first, the inning prior, and then Mia Scott hits a home run. And then Jolie Mitchell comes back and hits a home run of her own. But Tegan Gavon getting it done in the circle for the Longhorns. But I was really, really impressed with Tatum Clopton. And I think I know LSU obviously didn't win the series, but I think that's a huge feather in your cap for the Tigers heading into the back of SEC play, the last 2 weekends of SEC play. I think that's a really, really promising sign for Clopton to come in and do what she did. But, Tori Edwards, can't say enough about her and what she's been to that offense for the Tigers. But again, it's a good win for Texas, and it was gritty. Mm-hmm. It wasn't easy. And Reese Atwood, I've been a Reese Atwood fan for ages and ages. Just incredibly impressed with her week in and week out and stepping up in big moments. And that was a really big moment for that walk-off grand slam.
That was sick nasty. That was awesome. Yeah, LSU, I thought Heavner threw really well too in game 3. Tom and I were watching that up in the press box before Alabama-Florida game 3, and we were both like, oh, okay. We'd seen her live just a few weeks before, and that sharp movement on her rise was really, really good. Kayla, I haven't calibrated the stats, but she was my pick 2 weeks ago to be SC Freshman of the Year. I think she's still probably there. I think it helped that Vandegrift, that 0-for-4 game 3 might have caused her to have flow back just a little bit. McEnroe, Marinas, and Garcia are still in the mix, but Tori Edwards is probably the pick right now. And As for what happened at first base, I think a lot of things can be true, and I think sometimes you can go a little too hard in the paint, and also you can be in the way. But Jolie Mitchell, she said, "I don't really care about the storylines. I'm going to make my own story," and the home runs that she hit were just beyond clutch. I also love your point about Tatum Clopton too. Like, I felt like I learned a lot about both schools and what they're made of this weekend with this series.
Yeah, and it was a big series, and it was a tough road trip for the Tigers, and they knew that going in, right? Like, I think LSU understood what needed to be done, and they knew it was going to be a tough, 2 weeks on the road in Texas, and obviously didn't come out with a result that I think LSU obviously wanted. But again, there are some underlying uh, kind of markers that I think are good signs for the Tigers. And again, Clopton was that, and the offense. That offense is relentless and almost like you can't really take a breath because whether they're manufacturing runs, they're putting the ball in play, they're hitting doubles, hitting singles, hitting the ball out of the yard, really dynamic offense. And again, don't get the series win, but I would argue that I was more impressed with LSU because, like you said, they easily could have almost swept that series
They could have swept. They could have gotten
on the
swept. Like,
road.
everything was there. Everything was on the table. All right. So maybe the team that made the biggest statement this week of anybody was the Oregon Ducks at home against UCLA, capping it off with a run rule victory where they got all over all three Bruin pitchers. Very, 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 very strong weekend for Oregon. Even after a midweek against Oregon State, they got shaky. We were tracking it like, hold on, what Ducks? What are you doing? And then lost game one against UCLA, or I should say won game one against UCLA in a pitcher's duel, lost game two in a run rule, and then the bounce back. Oregon's showed me a lot this weekend. And, we'll talk about bracketing later. I'm still not 100% sure where they fit in the hosting conversation. I think they're certainly closer. But if that's a number two that you got, God bless you and good luck because Oregon's pretty darn talented.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of chatter, especially in the chat week in and week out, saying Oregon's strength of schedule wasn't tough enough, that they hadn't been tested. And Lindsey Grind, 400 career strikeouts. Listen to this stat, Gray. She hasn't allowed a run in 28 innings versus a top 25 team.
It's pretty good.
Yes. Bang. You
Bang,
got
bang,
it, bang. Right?
bang is on it.
Yes. And that to me is so impressive. And then the defense, I just so impressed with the defense, just making plays to Nikki at short, Luchar, and the Luchar sisters in general, that series. But again, Lindsey Grind to me has just been so impressive. And the defense and the run game, they got 145 stolen bases on the year. That's insane.
That's a lot. That's a lot of speed.
That's a lot. Like, so for me, I just really impressed with Oregon and a team, like you said, it's going to be so interesting what the committee does with a team like the Oregon Ducks, especially if I almost said win the pack, win the Big Ten. I know, still there.
Well, all right, yeah, because it's going to test everything that the committee says they don't care about, right? Conference championships. Well, Oregon's going to win that. If you have a bad non-con SOS, but you win all the big games, like Oregon has, all their top 25 wins are top 10 wins, and I believe it's 5-1, 4-1. I updated it this morning, so like they're winning the games, they just aren't playing many of the games. So what does that mean? I don't know. We're going to find out. This is an interesting case for the committee, as is Texas Tech, who went to Tucson. It's probably the second most impressive statement of the weekend. Went to Tucson and took 2 out of 3 against Arizona. Your mileage may vary, actually, on who you want to vote as most impressive statement of the weekend. But, man, Texas Tech, they showed a lot of grit. They showed a lot of fight. And Nyjah continues to Nyjah in the big moments. Just clutched up and made the big pitches when she had to, and the offense helped her out, especially in game 3.
I love that Nyjah continues to Nyjah. Yeah, 300 pitches, 138 pitches in game 3, Gray. That's a lot of pitches.
Yeah.
Which for me, it's just really impressive. And I don't think it's been that quiet, but maybe it has. But that's our 6th straight Big 12 win. And that is difficult to do, not only to come into the conference, obviously, when you have a Niger candidate, but just I've been really impressed with week in and week out. They're just finding ways to get those series wins. And those series wins aren't easy to do. I love Maya Davis in center. I think she makes some pretty spectacular plays, but big home run by Lauren Allred as well. I think that was huge to get that game, and some nice defensive plays by Tony at short too. So just think the Red Raiders are on an uptick, and I don't even know if it's an uptick. They just keep getting better or winning games.
These were games they had to win.
Yeah.
And they did. Now the question is, can they keep it up? Because the regular season did not end. This past week, Texas Tech still has some big games coming up. And, I think the thing you got to see from a lot of teams is the intensity that they bring in the big games. Can they bring it game in and game out? The reason Oregon's where they are is because not only the SOS is tough, but they've also taken some losses outside the top 100. There are more pitfalls ahead for some of these teams. And this weekend, Texas Tech is hosting Arizona State. That feels hardcore trappy to me. So Texas Tech has got to sustain, got to keep it going, because as well as they played this weekend, you can undo all that goodwill if you don't bring it the next weekend against a team not in the RPI top 25.
Yeah, and to be honest, Gray, I don't know how they actually take a look at that in terms of when they're looking at losses in the beginning of the season. But for me personally, and I know I'm not on the committee, whether people believe that or not, when you take win or losses early in the season, I think sometimes that has a lot to do with coaches figuring out who can, work in the circle or figuring out different lineups. And for me, losses early in the season are not as big of a red flag as per se as we're getting into right now. So to me, I get it. I understand that the quad 3, quad 4 losses, I get that. You got to beat teams that you should beat. But in the beginning of the season, I think you're still trying to figure things out and allowing, different athletes to be in different positions. So for me, I would keep an eye on as we get closer to the end of the season. And like we said, in conference tournament play as well, how teams are playing now that they've had all that information and have all that information, which they didn't have in the beginning of the year.
Yeah. I think that's a very astute way to look at it. And the last thing I will ever accuse the committee of being is not astute. So let's look at some of the stranger things that happened this weekend. It's not on the rundown, but I want to flash Brandon's comment here because Ole Miss, Georgia, what and why? I mean, we had in this series multiple off the rails games, grand slams, all the walks in game one. And trust me, we could have a 45-minute discussion about strike zones. And it's not just me that thinks that. I chatted with some folks this weekend who agree. But Ole Miss going to Athens and winning that series, really impressive. High scoring, kind of one of those crazy series that the Rebels came out on top of. And Ole Miss just continues to kind of chug along, doing their thing. Don't think they're going to host, but they're going to be a really, really tough 2 seed wherever they are.
Yeah, and Ashton Lansdale, 4 consecutive home runs, I believe. Gray. I mean, what a weekend for Lansdale. I know I kept looking up, thinking, wait, what's the score? It was like a football score as we're getting into it, and that's got to be a little bit concerning for the Georgia Bulldogs in the circle, allowing that many runs. And again, even on the Ole Miss side, I think it was an all-out brawl, scrappy, back and forth. A lot of runs scored, a lot of balls flying out of the yard. But again, I wouldn't want to see that Ole Miss team in a regional that I was in, because if they got everything going at once, they're a pretty scary team.
Yeah. And again, 22 combined walks in game one.
Yeah.
What are we doing? There's no way all of them were balls. Just saying.
Well, the strike zone is another thing. I feel like there should be some grading system, and I know there is a grading system behind what and I'm not trying to blame the officials or anything, but there should be, bonuses, backed up into their contracts. Should they have better performance, higher performance? And I know they do. They've got some metrics that they use in major leagues, right? Right. And so, yeah.
Why not? I don't know. Just wanted to mention that
It's also tough when the zone moves too.
Yeah, that was a lot. 22 walks in a game and, 21 runs, which is crazy. Okay, maybe the biggest eyebrow raiser of the weekend was Pitt taking 2 of 3 against Virginia Tech in a series where Virginia Tech won a game 21-0 with 11 home runs, including, I think, 5 of them on the first pitch of the AB. So it might have been more. I stopped counting at 5. Man, this is, well, first off, what a weekend for Pitt. And they had a lot of people. They also blew out Penn State in the midweek. So really a great overall week for Pitt. They had a lot of people step up. KK Esparza, Briggs had the walk-off. The pitching was really, really good. For Virginia Tech, this is like, what happened? I mean, you have an epic game and then 2 games where it kind of comes apart. Emily was not super strong this weekend, and this is really going to impact their hosting chances. Just one of the most perplexing weekend stat lines I've seen in a while, just the way all 3 games played out.
Yeah, Virginia Tech's first conference loss of the season and first series ranked win for Pitt. Huge, big weekend. Kyra Pittman, 5 shutout innings. Like you said, Kylie Griggs with the walk-off. She had 6 hits against Virginia Tech, and she's been on a 14-game on-base streak. So really been impressed with Kylie Griggs. And like you said, KK Esparza with that solo shot. But again, yes, for Virginia Tech, it's just a little bit of a roller coaster of a weekend, right? And that is something that is going to have big implications for being able to sleep in your own bed for regionals, which is way more important than anybody thinks. Like, I think for an athlete, having a routine, being able to sleep in your own bed, being able to be at your own ballpark, doing the same things for a regional postseason is really important. And that was a big series loss.
Yeah. I mean, that's now a second and third sub 100 RPI loss for Virginia Tech. They were lacking quality wins anyway. Just baffling. How you win a game by 3 touchdowns and then lose the series is kind of crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a weekend series stat line like that. And credit to Pitt for the bounce back, because that game 3 win was like 45 minutes after they lost 21-0 to Virginia Tech. So shout out to the Panthers. That is some impressive grit and fight.
Absolutely. And for a team that's 17-27 to go out and do that against a Virginia Tech squad that has just been very solid throughout the season, just very, very impressed with Pitt. And I remember I kept going back to that game thinking, oh, here we go. Like, this is a good one. And what a great series. The ACC's been really fun this year. I mean, I don't know if fun's the right word, but I've enjoyed watching the ACC this year.
Look, I'm all about organized chaos. Well, like, whatever works, man. It's an interesting weekend every single time. And I feel like every time I pull up the box scores, there's one game that gets off the rails for the team that's quote unquote favored. Even Clemson losing on Saturday to Boston College. How about shout out Jordan Stevens, 3-run homer that proved to be the difference there. But this is kind of the first time one of the true ACC contenders lost that second time. And that's kind of where the concern creeps in about what happened to Virginia Tech.
Yeah. And we'll take a look at the RPI and hosting implications later here in the show. I know that there are a lot of questions about that. So we'll get to that later on in the show.
But as you can see, I have removed the chat overlay. What does that mean? Well, it probably means we're going to have another person on the screen, usually. So because if we have 3 people in the chat overlay, it's just too much. So we're going to bring in the third member of our team today on Good Morning Softball America. You know her as the latest winner of the golden ticket. She's going to the chocolate factory that is AUSL. Florida's Korbe Otis. Welcome to the show, Korbe. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Oh my goodness. Good morning, good afternoon, Korbe. Thanks for joining us. I want to start there because that moment, obviously hitting the walk-off and then receiving a golden ticket. Like, can you walk me through that? Did you know you were getting a golden ticket? What was that like for you? Because watching it and experiencing it, for me, I was emotional. But for you, the one receiving that just so much happening in that short amount of time.
Yeah, it was definitely an emotional moment. To answer your question, no, I had no idea that there was a ceremony going on. I was as in the dark as everybody else. We had hit the walk-off run, or the walk-off hit to win. I was running around the bases, and we celebrated and jumped, and it was great. And then we were told to stay on the field, and I didn't have any idea what was happening. I was as in the dark as everybody else. So very emotional, very shocking, just because I didn't know what was going on. And I mean, it was a very surreal moment.
Korbe, we've never met. I'm one of the Alabama radio guys, so thank you for your work. We were obviously in the house this weekend, and I accidentally bumped into your dad at one point while I was talking to Jocelyn Erickson's mom. And then I saw the video after of you two communicating after the game, after the golden ticket situation. What was that like to be able to share that with him after such a sprawling day of excitement for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was really, really cool. I didn't know that that was happening at all, but I am very glad that my dad and my brother were both there to witness that and be with me in that moment. You know, it was me and my dad for the longest time, just going to California every weekend for 6 years. So we were travel buddies for a really long time there, and he has been. I wouldn't be where I am without him in my softball career. So to share that moment with him was really impactful. I got emotional. He got emotional, obviously. So it was really, 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 really impactful to me.
And Korbe, obviously being a part of the Florida Gators, you've been and you've seen a lot. You've been through a lot. You played at the Women's College World Series. You played through the SEC. What has that experience been like for you, being a Florida Gator, and what has that meant to you?
It's been an absolute dream. I think I've told the story before, but like Florida was one of my dream schools going through the recruiting process the first time. I was actually at the 2015 World Series when they had won it against Michigan. And it was that World Series that I decided I want to play college softball. I want to compete for a national championship. And that kind of had sparked all my dreams, my goals for softball. And so coming full circle, getting to be a Gator, it's absolutely incredible. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not thankful, humbled, and just so happy to be a Florida Gator.
I want to ask as well about this closing stretch because, you Gators have not gotten the easiest draw from the SEC office, especially with what's to come. Trip to LSU, Oklahoma at home. The way Saturday's game ended, how does that propel you into those types of weekends where you're going to be facing top 10 teams who are really, really tough?
Yeah, I think it's obviously a good sign. When you play in the SEC, a lot of the times every weekend feels like it's a super regional kind of atmosphere, especially when you're playing at really cool stadiums with really, really dedicated fan groups. So obviously, playing in that environment is really, really cool, and I think that coming off this stretch, I think we're in a good spot. You know, we have a good group. We're working through our process how we need to, and I think we're in a good spot.
I love that. Well, last one from me, Korbe, because I know this is maybe your off day or you've got to go get back to practice or work out. What is it like to play for Coach Walton now? We've been able to have Coach Walton obviously on the podcast and gotten to know him a little bit more on that side, but I want to know from your perspective, what is it like to play under Tim Walton day in and day out?
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I think Coach Walton is definitely a really respected coach in the world of softball, and for a good reason. He pushes us to be our best, whatever that's going to look like, whether he has to get on you, whether he has to find something, another resource for you. But if you ask for something, he's going to get it for you. If you ask to do extra film, if you ask to do extra hitting, he's going to do it for you. And I think that that's definitely not something you find everywhere. And at the same time, like, he truly creates a family atmosphere. Like, we say family every single day, and we mean it when we break it down after practice or games, whatever it is. And he really fosters that. It comes from him. I couldn't ask to play under a better leader.
I've got one more. Record wall behind you. What's on the wall? What goes into the decisions behind what albums make it on the wall?
And that's like my Elvis record wall. They're all Elvis records and things.
Wow.
Minus the one that I got on like some website, and it's a Florida Gators record. So they're all Elvis records. I think I like got them off of eBay or something. But I just thought it was a cool thing, considering my walk-up song is an Elvis song.
It's very aesthetically pleasing.
Yes, thank you.
What's your walk-up song?
Well, my walk-up song is Trouble by Austin Butler from the Elvis movie, but it's originally by Elvis, obviously.
Trouble. Wait, before you go, Korbe, we've got a question from, this is actually Brady. Well, it's not Brady. Hold on.
Here, I got you.
Thank you. They don't let me usually play around the checks.
It's the wrong one.
Korbe, this is from Brady, but his call sign on here is Bonos. Is she going to put off being a surgeon?
I don't think so. No, I'm still planning to apply to medical school this cycle and things, and so that'll definitely be a part of my story coming here soon. But I definitely pro softball is also a part of that story right now as well. So
cool.
Who says you can't have it all? Korbe Otis. Congratulations on a great weekend, on the golden ticket, and on everything that you've done and will do in the future. Thanks for hopping on with us on Good Morning Softball America.
Thank you guys for having me. Go Gators.
Absolutely. Korbe Otis joining us. I got to say, we did know about the golden ticket right before the game, and I was like, uh-oh. She gonna do something. and sure enough, the walk-off. Congrats to Korbe. Excellent person. And congratulations to her on the golden ticket. An excellent choice by AUSL. And now we're 4 tickets down. So we got 8 to go.
Well, I just saw something that said 4 down, 4 to go. So
okay.
Maybe that we're doing 8, but I thought it was 12. So
I thought it was 12 too.
Up. Yeah, we'll get that cleared up for you guys.
Maybe they do 8 golden tickets and then 4 like at larges. Yeah,
we'll get that cleared up. Don't worry, we'll have it for you as soon as
Cheyenne, I don't want to block you. I'm sorry, I pressed the wrong button, Cheyenne. I meant to pop this up. Korbe Otis is who I want to be when I grow up.
Great temperament, just even on here, like, gosh, I mean, as a teammate, having somebody that's that calm with that demeanor, and I love that her walk-up song is Trouble.
I didn't pick up that it was that it was Austin Butler, Elvis. But I should have. I should have. That's my bad. Yeah. What a moment Saturday for Korbe Otis, and congratulations to her and her family.
Who's going to get the next ticket? You guys in the chat, let us know who you think's going to get the next ticket. I don't know. Brady.
When is Sierra Sacco getting one?
Ooh.
AUSL?
Yeah, see, Brady said AUSL tweeted 8 to go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sierra Sacco is gonna get one. Has to, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Emily Kennedy. There are options.
Yeah.
Roach says Michaela Edenfield. I wonder if maybe that was in the cards this weekend. If I don't know, they weren't able, that series was canceled.
Yeah, confirmed 8 to go. So 4 down, 8 to go. So 12 total.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Lots to get into. Send us your predictions. Brady will probably tweet something.
A lot of Kennedy. Emily Kennedy, I think that's probably a pretty safe bet too.
Yeah.
Lefty that throws plus 70. Yeah.
All right. Should we answer some cues?
Their questions? I don't know. I feel like they're very amicable today.
Well, let's get to the top 25 Q&A.
I'm trying to see if I have any on my...
Oh, you do. I'm sure you do. Please. Come on. It's somebody. Twitter.
Yeah.
Real quick, here's the new top 10. Tennessee is at number 1. Texas A&M down 1 spot to number 2. Texas number 3.
This is updated what? RBI?
Top 25. Ours.
Tennessee number 1.
Yeah. A&M 2. Texas 3.
Sorry, I think it skipped. I was like, wait, Tennessee's number 1.
Florida State 4, Oklahoma 5, Arkansas 6, Oregon 7, Florida 8, UCLA 9, South Carolina 10. Big movers. Alabama is up 4 spots to 14. Ohio State is up 3 spots after sweeping Michigan to 17. Virginia Tech is down 5 spots to 18. Mississippi State is down 4 spots to 20. And FAU back in the poll. Hello, Owls. We'll start with Robert's just out the gate question. Just had this ready to go once we came on the show. Oregon beats UCLA 2-1. UCLA doesn't drop out of top 10. Yes. Texas loses 1 to LSU and doesn't drop. FSU doesn't even play, moves up. Then OU sweeps Mississippi State for their first sweep all year, and OU drops. Biased. First things first. OU did not go 3-0 this week. They went 3-1. So that did factor in. Yeah. Also, I did not ding Florida State whatsoever. Everything that happened to them was totally out of their control. And it was the right move for the university to cancel that series against Georgia Tech. So I was even, as I was playing around, I did not move Florida State at all. I said, if somebody does something that normally I would pass them over Florida State for, I'm not going to do it this week, because what happened to them, why those games were canceled, was totally out of their control. If they had decided they weren't playing this weekend, if there wasn't anything on the schedule, then that's different. But what happened, I was not going to ding Florida State at all whatsoever, because it wasn't up to them. It was something that happened on campus that led to that decision that I think everyone totally agreed with. So I don't really actually care at all for the bringing up of that. That feels irrelevant, and I kind of don't like that was mentioned. And then Oregon, UCLA. I mean, UCLA did run roll Oregon in the 1 win, and Texas lost 1, and they didn't drop because nobody passed them. They won the series. So I don't know. Tara, what do you think?
Yeah, I think for our poll, we did take into account Oklahoma's series lost last week. So that is part of that OU sweep. Obviously, we talked about that, and losing 2 series as well in the SEC. So I think for me, you just took it away. But
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I'll go back.
No, you're good. Leave it. That's fine.
Okay.
I was trying to sort out my ring light as well. It's just, we knew that was going to happen. And I had Texas A&M at number 1. The rest of the poll had Tennessee at number 1. So, I think there's a lot that comes to play, and that UCLA Oregon series, we're seeing a lot of run rolls, Gray, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I think we're seeing that across the board. Like, even for me, I've said this 2-3 weeks ago, even with, I think it was Arkansas, Ole Miss, like that run roll on Sunday, like winning the series is the name of the game for me.
Yes.
And it is so difficult to sweep a team, which I will give credit when a team does sweep a team. But the name of the game is to win a series. And to do that week in and week out is really, really difficult. And so if you lose a series, especially at home, that has a lot of weight for me personally. Again, Oregon winning at home at the Jane against UCLA, big wins for the Oregon Ducks. Do I think that might change if they're playing at Easton or it's a different weekend? Maybe. I do think they were pretty evenly matched teams, but I think ultimately Oregon was a better team on day 3 and really got into all 3 pitchers. So, I just think the rankings are fun to go over. And I do want you to be amicable, Cheyenne. I love that. I love when you guys are amicable and you ask really nice questions. I just was surprised that we didn't get more today. And Fang, how do you know that I voted Texas A&M number 1?
I think you dropped a clue by being surprised when I said Tennessee at number 1.
No, I knew they were number 1. But I thought you had said Texas A&M at number 1 because I was the only one that voted for. I just was making sure that we were on the right track.
Yeah. Is this the one you were talking about?
Yeah.
Pterodon? Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Just reading the tea leaves. Attaboy. Let's see. Not a ton of questions.
I know,
coming
that's what
in.
I'm saying. That's okay. It's great. You want to go to RPI? You want to talk bracketology?
Well, real quick, let's
I can look at that top 5. What is his question?
Where is it?
In terms of votes?
Oh, it was about how tight the top 5 was, because I think we're all probably on the same page about what we were doing with Florida State, and how
top
we
5
were.
were all the same, just different order.
Yeah.
Every single one is the same, just different order.
Yeah, it was tight.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's any other top 25 questions. Is that Miles?
Yeah. He's right here. I was wondering when he was going to make some noise.
All right, we do have a Duke question. Duke at 21. They have taken a couple puzzling losses. Let me hold up the Stranger Things mug. Oh, Brady's asking questions. Real quick, any thoughts on Duke losing the game to Pitt, losing a game to Notre Dame this week? I feel like I still don't really know what to make of the Blue Devils.
Yeah, same. But we'll see what happens come postseason. Like, I still wouldn't want to face a Marissa Young team in the postseason. I just wouldn't. Like, there are some teams that you just don't want to face in the postseason. Duke is going to be that team as well. I know there's been some ups and downs, but I think for me, that's another team that you do not want to face in a regional.
Brady's asking us a question. Why did you two raise Tennessee this weekend as opposed to last weekend? It is true. Last week I had, where is it? Last week I had Tennessee number 5. I can't find it. That was partially because of what was happening above them for me. They did get the sweep this week. A&M, yes, they won the series, but the 2 wins were, one was in extras, another was a comeback win. They didn't play all that well, and then Missouri run ruled them. So I just, A&M did not look as great as I thought they would this weekend. And just when it all shaked out, I had Tennessee number 1. I mean, it's honestly top 5, top 6 are all kind of interchangeable. I don't know.
I have a crazy stat about, I'll get to your question, Brady, after this crazy stat, because I want to share it. The Aggies have never won at Mizzou softball stadium. This is so crazy. That opened in 2017. They were 0-7 all time. Isn't that a wild stat? Does
that include SEC tournament?
They've lost 9 straight in Columbia. The last win came in 2013.
Jeez.
They split the SEC series. They're 1-10 in Columbus in SEC play. Or Columbia. Last series win the Aggies had in Columbia was 2008. So, knowing that history, I think probably that's a part of my reason where I'm like, hey, they got that series win, and they're like, we're getting out of Columbia, and we're good. We got a series win there. Knowing that history, and thank you, Amanda Scarborough, for that stat. She sent that over to me. But again, for me in moving Tennessee up, it had to do with Oklahoma losing to their second series to Alabama. So that's why I then bumped Tennessee up. After seeing that loss, I bumped Tennessee up over Oklahoma, and then watching the Texas series. So that's why I voted. I bumped Tennessee, but I've been high on Tennessee all year. So it doesn't matter to me where they are in the rankings. I think I've been the only one that has been high on Tennessee in terms of their pitching and not worried about their offense when everyone else was.
Whoa. Okay. Don't say pitching. Don't make me sound like a Carlin Pickens hater. I was also high on Carlin Pickens. I'm not insane.
I'm just saying.
I had questions about the offense, admittedly.
Okay. Well, I'm just, I'm good. I watched them early. I'm like, oh, this is going to work here. Like, this is going to play. And was really impressed with the Lady Vols early, even with the series lost Arkansas. I think they're having a really, really good season in where they've had some ups and downs, but they're figuring it out and really coming together and playing as a team. And of course, you got Carlin Pickens.
Yeah, it's quite the difference maker. Also, one more shout out before we do a little bracketing and also some mid-major love. My bad. Haley, over 13,000 people at a softball game is crazy. How about
big
Stanford
swing.
Cal going for it and getting it?
Yeah, the big swing. I tried to upload the photo, but I don't think it's on here. I'm looking at our scenes on the left-hand side. But our very own Crash Kamen was out there at the big swing, and we've got loads of incredible photos. Andrew Luck threw out the first pitch. Cal ultimately won that game, the big swing. They'd lost a series. So Stanford, had won those first two games, but Cal ends up winning that game in front of the largest recorded crowd. What was the actual number? 13,000. What was it?
I got it.
Got it right here.
We'll see who wins. Who can get there first?
It's probably going to be you.
13,207.
Incredible. Just think about that. Like, that happened on a weekend against a Cal, obviously Cal Stanford rivalry. Think about if you do a football stadium in the SEC.
Brian Denny's right there.
Just like, that should be something that we do every year. Big swing, different places, parks across the country.
Find a sponsor for it. Let's go.
Yeah, and then maybe the USL can, jump in on that too. Maybe play a game, pro game.
Yeah.
Maybe get some, why not? That was really cool, though.
I'll give you the choice. Do you want to go bracketing or do you want to go mid-majors? Which do you want to do first?
Let's go through the mid-majors quickly and then get to the bracketing. So if you guys have bracketing questions, put them up on the chat. I believe Brady's in here as well. And let's go through some mid-majors. Why don't you read off kind of most of those conference races, and then we'll talk about it for you.
Well, I was just gonna shout out a couple key ones with some big matchups coming up this weekend. So in the American, battle of second and tie for second and tie for second, USF at North Texas coming up this weekend. USF is a half game ahead of North Texas because of a tie. We love those. FAU leads the league at 17-4. Also want to shout out the Sun Belt, Louisiana Monroe. My girl Molly Fickner, what's up, Warhawks? Leading the league at 13-5, a game ahead of Texas State at 12-6. Liberty and Louisiana Tech in the CUSA coming up this weekend. That is in Ruston. Liberty is up by 3.5 games on the Bulldogs, formerly the Lady Texters. Louisiana Tech, obviously, when you're down 3.5 games, even if they sweep the series, they won't be leading the league, but they can make up a lot of ground. Samford at Chattanooga in the SoCon. That's a battle of third and tied for first. Central Arkansas and Austin Peay coming up this weekend. And also a shout out to the Big East race as well. St. John's and UConn tied up at the top. Villanova, who's in third, will be at UConn coming up this weekend. Let's see. We got McNeese and Southeastern, not this weekend, but those teams are a half game off of each other in the Southland Conference. Want to make sure I don't step on anything. Oh, the OVC. Second place SIUE at 15-5 in the league is at first place Eastern Illinois, 17-3 in the OVC coming up this weekend. So SIUE, a team that we saw in Tuscaloosa way back when. That was early in the year. Coach Thornton does a great job. He's a great follow on Twitter. Go check it out. He posts motivational Mondays every week. I'm sure that he's got some kind of post out right now. Big shout out to SIUE, and that'll be a very, very critical series in the Ohio Valley Conference coming up this weekend. Any that I missed, Tara, that you specifically want to shout out?
Well, it was interesting. I was talking to Brady about this morning about all the mid-major races, and we were just saying that the one that matters the most is the West Coast Conference, because that's the only conference that will have a bid in the regular season. And then we started going down this rabbit hole, Brady and I, about how maybe Power Four shouldn't have an automatic bid in their conference tournaments. And then we started going down that rabbit hole, but talking about how Santa Clara and Gina Carbonara Carbonado, what they're doing over on the West Coast. Like if they can keep that thing going, they'll get a berth into the NCAA tournament. And I don't know what y'all's thoughts are on this. I kind of think this. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about regular season and tournament bids. Like there's a part of me that kind of likes the regular season champion punching their ticket. I think the tournament is more exciting, but for me personally, excellence and consistency over time is, for me, holds a little bit more rank than getting hot just in a flash pan in 1 week.
All right, here's my take.
I knew you were going to have
I have a take.
So that's why I said it.
I am pro rings for regular season titles. I'm not necessarily pro rings for tournament titles, but I think for getting an auto bid to the NCAA tournament, conference tournament makes the most sense for drama, for like the second chance opportunity. Because if you win the regular season, you're in. Like you don't actually need the auto bid. The auto bid is there to kind of provide the option for those bubble teams, or maybe the immediate thought that comes to mind for me is the tornado year in 2008 and the SC men's basketball tournament that Georgia won. They weren't going to make the NCAA tournament, but then they went on that run. They made it because they won the SEC tournament in that event that ended up at Georgia Tech because of a tornado that hit Atlanta. Just that's kind of why you have an auto bid. If you want to have an auto bid for the regular season, then, hashtag why not both. But I wouldn't take out the conference tournament auto bid.
I'm not saying take out the tournament. I love the tournament. I think the conference tournament is fantastic. My argument is that when you're doing it week in and week out, it's a grind. You're traveling, you're playing these series. Like, I think that should be rewarded. Not, let's say there's a bobble at second, or there's a miraculous play where a ball is robbed in center field, and then that's it. Like, you're out of the tournament. And then what about all the work you put in through all of conference play? So I love the conference tournaments. I think they're great, but I'm just saying personally, I think that if we're looking at, what is he saying for Power 4 grade?
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, I'm talking about Power 4s.
Yeah, I am
Only.
as well.
Yeah. I'm talking only about Power 4s, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, in the mid-majors, Haley brings up the other point. If they're not going to have a conference tournament for the mid-majors if the auto bid goes to the regular season champ.
Yeah, I got you, Haley. I agree.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Fun discussion.
I'm always willing to have a little convo about the state of college sports. Lord knows we've seen it all. All right, let's talk about bracketing.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the bracket packet.
I was going to say, do you have your bracket packet? I thought it was going to be a big book printed.
It is not printed.
You should sell those. I mean, maybe not sell them.
You know what? I'm going to print it right now. I'm going to print it right now behind us.
That's going to be not noisy.
Well, I'll just, how do I do this? Okay. Thank you, printer. And print. It's coming.
At least it's not Miles growling.
There you go. Ready? Here it comes. The bracket packet.
There it is. All right.
All right. So while that's going, can you hear it?
Yeah, it's okay. I like it.
Awesome.
It's like the bracket packet printing right in front of your eyes, everybody.
Who has questions about resumes and profiles? I saw one from Haley earlier. For bracketology, can we talk about the teams that are locked into hosting and then locked into Supers hosting? So there are a couple teams that I do feel are pretty locked into hosting Supers. Texas A&M. I felt Texas A&M and Florida were both locked in. I think Texas is locked in. Bracket packet done. Let's see.
Honestly, I think each week we should put up our rundown and part of the bracket packet so that we can all sit and do it together. Actually, Brady has his bracketology on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So maybe we can put something together. See, Cheyenne wants a bracket packet.
Sure. I mean, I can update it and put it on there. I still don't know how you post an article on this wonderful website, but I'll try. All right, Fang wants the tiers. Fang wants the
Fang?
tiers. Lock for super, lock for regional, bubble for super, bubble for regional. I have not charted it yet for the Out of the Box podcast, so I don't have it in front of me. So I've got A&M, Florida, Florida State, South Carolina, Texas as locks for supers, I think. Oh, so many questions. So many. Y'all, I'm trying to keep up and also track. Bubble for supers. I think Florida State should be fine, but I can't lock them up right now. I think LSU is okay, but I can't consider them a lock because if they lose out, then they're no longer okay. I think
You think OU's on the bubble for supers?
100%. 100%. But they got on the better side, and again, those top 10 wins are really, really good.
Huge.
But that non-conference SOS is still a concern.
Cheyenne just made me laugh.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, Fang. I have not charted the tiers yet because I was able to just update the bracket packet like 30 minutes before we got on. So I haven't actually ranked everybody yet in my mind. But
maybe we could do a special bracket packet live stream, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe on Wednesdays or Thursdays.
Sure.
With all your time that you have, and Brady will jump in. Maybe we could do like a 30-minute live if you guys would like that. I feel like it would kind of be fun. I don't know. You guys let us know. A bracket packet show.
Russ, where does Texas
Packet, it's so like catchy.
Bracket packet. Where does Texas Tech stand on hosting a super? That team confuses me. They are not close to hosting a super right now. And they're right now fringe regional.
Yeah.
I again, in about 2 hours, I'll have laid all this out on my counter and ranked everybody and kind of put it all together. But still only the 2 RPI top 10 wins, still just the top 20 or the 7 top 25 wins. That double digit threshold is so important for those RPI top 25 wins. You've got to get to 10. If you get to 10, then you feel like you're in a really good spot. And just the 10 top 50 wins, like I don't love what I'm looking at. This weekend kept them alive. If they'd lost the series to Arizona, they might have been out of the packet. And we did say goodbye to Georgia this week. Sorry to the dogs, but this keeps them in the conversation to host a regional, and that's it. I don't think they're close to hosting a super, and I'm not quite sure they will be.
No.
We
will do a bracket packet live stream.
Brian, is Arkansas hosting a regional? 100%. Locked in. Arkansas is hosting a regional.
Let's see. RPI. What about Duke?
Duke is a tough one.
34-14.
So Duke is sitting there with 2 top 10 wins and 6 top 25 wins. So everything I just said about Texas Tech, bleed over into the Dukiness of it all. They do have 18 top 50 wins. So that's actually on the higher end. The only teams with more are A&M, Florida, South Carolina, Texas,
Nate,
and that's it.
Nate's here. Burning question. I mean, I love Alabama fans just as much as I love OU fans, but sometimes y'all like it. Yes, Alabama will be making the tournament.
Actually, shout out to Nate, SID extraordinaire. The question we normally get is, will Alabama make the playoffs? Which, yes, Alabama will make the playoffs. Alabama is very close to being a regional hosting lock. And had they beaten Florida on Saturday, we would be talking about them being on the Supers hosting bubble. I don't think that's there right now, but it's, you sweep South Carolina or something in 2 weeks. It's not out of the question.
No. A lot of Oregon questions, Oregon Ducks. And Oklahoma State.
Let's go to Oregon in the bracket packet. Big move in the RPI. My concern again is, what is the committee going to do about that non-con?
In the RPI?
Yeah. 15 the RPI, 157 non-con SOS. So where's the punishment there? The committee's going to punish them in some capacity. Is it by putting them at the 16? Is it by not letting them host at all? I don't know. And again, the committee doesn't care about records in the major qualifiers. Like being 5-1 against the RPI top 10 is awesome, but they're looking at the 5 wins, and they're also looking at the fact that there are only 5 RPI top 25 wins. So I think Oregon will probably be in for me today, but it is not a strong hold, and I would recommend they take care of business maybe the rest of the way if they want to make sure that they're hosting a regional, because otherwise it's up to the committee's judgment. And we've seen teams with gaudy overall records be sent to Tuscaloosa, so who's to say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm over on War Nolan taking a look at what he's got over there as well. And for me, the one thing that always stands out is that non-conference strength of schedule at Texas at 103, Oklahoma at 156, and Oregon at 128. And there's no one in the top 25 that is below, that is below 100. So that to me is just really interesting, and how they factor that in as well.
Roach asks, is Virginia Tech hosting or are they on the road? A guess. Again, I have not charted yet. I just am looking at the bracket packet. My guess is Oregon would be in and Virginia Tech would be out based on putting the numbers together today. Now, Virginia Tech still has a series of Florida State coming up, so that can be corrected immediately. As you saw me try and snap. I can't snap. That's not this weekend, but it's coming up. Is Duke a lock to host a regional? Absolutely not. Not a lock. How many SEC teams will host a regional from Jeremy? How many do you think, Tara, will I count?
I don't know. I'm looking at this right now. Sorry, I'm in 2 different browsers.
I've got 9.
7. Hold on.
I've got 9 hosting a regional.
It all depends on how Alabama does in the next couple of weeks here too. I mean, I know that the Alabama always hosts because there's roads. So
I think 4 wins. 4 wins and Alabama's hosting. Like I feel like they're in a good spot. 4 wins to close the regular season against Missouri and South Carolina. Alabama's hosting. Let's see. Cheyenne says 10.
Go on, so Cheyenne.
Cheyenne and Mississippi State in. I do not, but I'm not mad about it. I like the call.
I think it'll be 8 or 9.
Right. I think that's good.
Yeah, well, it is good. I think what we'll do is when we have some time to sit down, Gray and I will do some bracket packet overview, and then we can actually have a bracket packet podcast.
The bracket packet pod? Yeah, I again, Brady's bracketology coming out on Wednesday.
I want to do that.
I will have it seeded as well on the Out of the Box podcast. That'll drop tomorrow. Tom and I are recording tonight our 100th in-season episode. Amanda Scarborough is joining us. We're going to play a game. It'll be fun. So lots of bracketing that you can hear about. This is just solely the data on the bracket packet.
Yeah, so Brady's bracketology will come out on Wednesday. So maybe we'll do – that sounds good. Maybe we could do it Wednesday, same time, same place.
Sure. I'll be back. I'll be here. Hopefully my counter will be clear.
If you guys have some time on Wednesday and want to join us, same time, same place. Maybe we can get Brady on here. Yeah, there it is. Wednesday, 12 Eastern. You good, Gray?
Sure. Did Brady text you that?
No, I just said it.
Oh.
Hopefully Brady can join us. Maybe another special guest.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Okay.
Packet pod. Okay, it said it.
Now we go to, gosh, I forgot how long the rundown was with all the.
You did? I did it.
With all the mid-majors. Well, you should see the out-of-the-box rundown. Those are typically about 12 pages. All right, here's what's coming up this week.
It'll be a 3-hour show.
Oh, last question. Brandon, where does Florida sit with you? Hosting a super. Probably 1, 2, or 3. I wouldn't have them number 1 right now, but 2 or 3 national seed. Okay. Midweek mayhem coming up this week. Tuesday, Clemson at Tennessee. Hey, Clemson, you're probably out of hosting a regional at this hour. Fluid situation, though. You win at Tennessee, we can start the discussions again. And then Wednesday, Texas at Oklahoma State. Hey, Oklahoma State, at this hour, you're probably at best like 16 or 15 at best. Yeah. You want to fix things? Beat Texas on Wednesday, and that'll have BMO and Smitty, Beth Mowens and Michelle Smith there. That's going to be a big-time show. 2 gigantic resume opportunities for Clemson and Oklahoma State in the midweek.
Yeah, how fun is this, you guys? We get some incredible matchups on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. We're so lucky. And the fact that we get to watch them too on TV, I know that there are some complaints sometimes about streaming and being able to watch games, but we are so blessed and so lucky to have this available and be able to watch these types of matchups. And I agree with you. Oh, Brady, we would love for you to join the show on Wednesday at 12 Eastern. The people are asking for a bracket packet show and a bracketology show. See, Julie's got it. Bracket packet pod. It's like so catchy. I love it. Oh, Bo Live Bracket Packet Pod. I love this. But no, like you said, and Oklahoma State, gritty win against UCF, which, gosh, again, I talked about the ACC. The Big 12 has been a dogfight as well with all these conference realignments, Gray. It's just been really, really fun to watch week in and week out, and a huge, huge game for Oklahoma State, as you said, it's been a roller coaster for the Cowgirls. They've been up and down, and that's right.
Where's Brady?
We could do bracket packet pod with Brady next Wednesday. Yeah, I forgot. He's got like 3 days on vacation. So, yeah.
Now this seems like a bad time.
Yeah, he's still working. I don't know why he even said that.
Don't worry, Brady. I'll hold it down for you. You can send me any notes you might have, and I'll include them on the bracket.
I love how we both say vacation as like vacation, and yet still working, right?
Cheyenne's like, cut it out and come on the show, Brady.
Brady will Brady's doing the whole bracketology, so he might join us. You never know. We'll have bracketology notes from Brady, so I'll take on Brady's bracketology to counter Gray's bracket packet, and then we'll all just hang out together. But no, like I said, two huge midweek games. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can bully Brady into coming. Okay.
Probably.
So some classic program names. You got some old softball money up in here in what is now a conference battle. Nebraska at Washington in the Big Ten, UCLA at Michigan. I mean, this is going to be fun. We'll see how the series goes. Michigan coming off a weekend where they got swept by Ohio State. Washington dropped a game to Michigan State this week. Nebraska is not in the bracket packet. If they were to sweep a road series at Washington, I would consider entering the chat with them, but we'll see.
Yeah. Between those two, obviously the UCLA Michigan one has got some personal feelings on it, because obviously Michigan getting the first national title against the Bruins and was on that squad, but huge again, and classic, like you said, program battles, and really weird to hear it Big Ten classic battles, to be honest with you. Yeah. But that's where we're at. That's where we're at. No, big stuff for Nebraska too. Just like plugging away in the Big Ten. And for those of you that don't have the Big Ten app or Big Ten network, you should probably get it. We had this conversation this week. It's actually quite handy, and you can quad box it. And there's some good softball happening in the Big Ten. So hopefully y'all are taking a look at that. And our very own Sydney Supley in studio for the Big Ten. I don't know if you guys seen her. She is just rocking and rolling over there.
She's busy.
She busy.
No, I'm not going to Chili's. Moving on. Sorry, I'm just
Chili's.
I'm responding to the chat. Lots of people want me to go to Chili's, apparently. No. All
So
right.
Chili's in between Tuscaloosa and Atlanta?
Almost definitely. There are
We could do
Chili's
bracket
everywhere.
packet. We could do bracket packet at Chili's.
We certainly could. We won't, but we could.
We could. Maybe one day.
Sure. SEC series of note.
Don't say that because you mean that's a no. Just be like, no. Don't
No.
say sure.
I'm so hungry. All right, here's what's coming on in the SEC. I wrote down 4 series. I did not write down Missouri and Alabama. We do hope that you will tune in to me and Tal on SC Network Plus. Going to be a lot of fun. Power of Pink, Senior Day, all that stuff. We're going to really get to tell some good stories about the Tigers and Matai, which will be awesome. But the series for me, hello, Texas at Oklahoma. Here we go.
What a big one, right? Like this, at this point in time, I'm so excited. I was thinking about flying out there. That's how excited I was about it. But we should have Jason Ray on hand covering that series for us because it's going to be a big one. And Red River rivalry, easy for me to say. And how both those teams respond. And gosh, I couldn't be more excited to see Tegan Gavon against that Oklahoma offense and Sam Landry against that Texas offense. What a fun series.
Fire me up. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a blast. And don't let the excitement around Texas at OU take away from Arkansas at A&M and Florida at LSU coming up this weekend. Gators, Rothrock looked back in game 3. That screwball, that rise ball, that combo is pretty darn good. I watched it in front of my own eyes. It was very impressive. LSU, just another week of like another tough opponent. And can they find a way to, translate some of these good performances into good wins? Because they played well against Texas and lost the series.
It's interesting, Gray. I think if we look back to maybe one of our first couple of podcasts in regards to the SEC schedule, we were talking about how the end of SEC play for some of these teams is going to be really, really a challenge. And we're in that. We're in the thick of it. And it is advantageous when you have a schedule that's not as difficult as others, but we're seeing some teams having to go through the gauntlet, and just the addition of Texas and OU, having to play both Texas and OU, and even it's their first season in the SEC, that's huge. Both programs entering into the SEC, having to play both of them, and then in turn for them having to go through the gauntlet of the SEC. I think it's been really, really insightful for both of them, and for the rest of the conference to have to play both those squads too. But again, I'm also excited for that Arkansas Texas A&M game. I think that's going to be a fun one to watch.
I can't wait. It's going to be another weekend of softball where maybe I have to bust out this mug, where stranger things happen. And maybe we learned a little bit about who needs to be where. I think, the title of this episode talks about host clarity. I think we're getting a little bit more of a clearer picture on which teams belong and maybe which teams, are starting to fade back into the pack and are going to be 2 seeds somewhere. And this weekend will provide a lot more of that clarity, especially as it pertains to the supers hosting discussion. LSU, OU, and I would say Arkansas. Those are probably the 3 teams in those 3 series who really, really, really need to convert on their chances and really, play well to solidify some of those spots in the top 8.
Yeah, and let's not forget about tonight, Mic'd Up Monday.
It's true. South Carolina, Kentucky.
Let's not forget. That's Mic'd Up Monday tonight. And then I don't know if we talked at all about the South Carolina-Auburn series, but can Auburn potentially snipe South Carolina?
We'll see. I don't know.
Another interesting series because, Auburn played pretty well this past weekend.
Auburn, they did. But the issue, 0-12 against the RPI top 10. So
it's a big weekend.
Yeah, this is a chance
3
to
chances.
get some of those wins. I don't think Auburn's in the packet because they're in the top 20 of the RPI, and I can't take them out yet. But who knows? You sweep South Carolina, which they would probably have to do, I would be open to having the discussion about, okay, where does Auburn's profile fit in to the bracket packet?
Yeah, that's the one I had written down that was kind of interesting, kind of off the wall a little bit, but that was tracking that, there's an opportunity there for the Tigers.
Yeah. All right, Tara, what is on the site? What do the people need to do before we say goodbye?
First, if you're on YouTube, please hit the like button right now for us. If you're over on YouTube, which a lot of you are, so appreciate
it's right
that.
down there, I think.
It's right.
Or over here.
There? I don't know.
Here.
And then head on over to the site, and a lot of discussion up on the discussion board, so we can continue this conversation over there on the discussion board. If you guys have any questions, head on over to on3.com/softball. Obviously, top 25 is up on the site. We'll have stars of the week, and we'll take a look at our composite rankings and then have a weekend review as well. Well, should be a synergy spotlight coming up too. We'll see, but bracketology for sure on Wednesday, and bracket packet pod Wednesday, right here, same time, same place.
Bracket packet pod.
I love it. I love.
I will have it updated, ready to go.
Maybe we can have a PDF version, because I know how to put things on the site. Gray knows how to make links and make sure that we're streaming live and helping with my audio and video. So we can maybe put that up on the site.
Yeah. I'm good. You good?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Good. I'm great.
No, I'm asking if you're like, are we done?
Yeah. Oh, I'm great. Yeah. No.
Okay, great. Many thanks to Korbe Otis for joining us on the show. Many thanks to all of you, Tara, the wonderful people out there who watched and commented and sent in wonderfully insightful questions, and not, attacks about how we're drunken idiots who don't watch softball. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. No, I just love that everybody's here and engaged and talking softball. It just honestly makes my week. What a great way to start the week on Mondays with each and every one of you. And how cool is it that we just get to talk about softball and everybody loves softball or is passionate about softball.
Yeah. If you didn't believe that, if you didn't know that, then again, I would recommend you check out the 13,000 plus at Stanford Cal.
Yeah.
The people are going crazy for the softball, and we love it.
Oh, and my final thought, because I was thinking about this on this morning, my walk with Miles, is Carlin Pickens like going to be our Caitlin Clark? Like, you know how when a sport needs a superstar to just catapult it into the next atmosphere and a galaxy, like, is Carlin Pickens that, like, throwing that 98.2 mile per hour pitch, like leading Tennessee? Is it going to be Carlin Pickens?
It could be, but she's got to be a star at the World Series, not just a regular season star.
Yeah, well,
she's been once, and she was not the number 1 or the number 2.
Hey,
she was the number 3. So
that's just a question.
She got to get.
Who is it? Is it Nyjah?
I think it's up in the air. I think somebody's ready to take the mantle, but whomst? I don't know.
Could be Nyjah.
Could be Nyjah.
Who else? Is it Jordy Ball?
I think that's hard to do. I don't think you can do that if you're not at the World Series.
I get it. I'm just saying. I think it's cool. I think we're almost at that point. Like,
yeah.
It's just fun to talk about.
We'll find out. I'll put it on the rundown for next week.
Cool. I would love that. And everyone can.
Face of the sport discussion. Who is it?
Yeah. I think you're looking at Nyjah and Carlin, and yeah.
We'll debate it out.
Cool.
Put it on your calendars next week, folks. Thank you, Korbe Otis, for the great Tara Henry. I'm Gray Robertson, as it says right there on the screen. Thanks for joining us on Good Morning Softball America. Have a great rest of the week. Hope all of you had a great Easter. We will see you for all the many things that will be coming this week and next time on Good Morning Softball America.